What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Four Horsemen podcast. We're here on our second episode, and today is Tuesday. And Russ, I'm coming to you first. You just finished a restock, right? You just dropped your new Get Better Today clothes recently.
Yeah, man. Dropped it this Saturday. I spent all weekend packing. I finished packing at like 3 a.m. last night or this morning. So, yeah.
God damn, dude. You got the blanket on you and everything right now?
Yeah. I might post it up. I was sleeping before y'all called. I was just like, all right, fuck it, let's do this shit.
I would have got the
Snuggies.
joggers. I would have got the joggers, but like I'm wearing 1X right now, and I saw you had 1X, but usually I wear 2X because I prefer it to be a little bit baggy.
2X.
So I wasn't sure, like, damn, what if I get the 1X and
no. These ones, like, they're still like kind of like a hybrid between fitness joggers and chill joggers, but the next drop I'm gonna try to just get straight up like chill joggers. Like chill joggers that like homies would wear, not like fucking European fits where it's like nut hugging, you know?
I mean,
You don't like that?
every
You don't
want to show off a camel tail?
Nah, I ain't trying to show off the print. Like, it's just too much. Nah, but yeah, I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna run it back with different design. Hold on, I might get it comfy. There we go. Yeah.
So you said, so you told me I didn't need to bother with Igor, but some females actually were like, oh my God, so amazing. So many bangers. Oh my God, I love this album. And I'm just like, damn.
Who said that?
I would have to look it up, but the Khaled one, when I put it in my story, everybody was like, that shit's trash. One guy said there was like a couple good ones, but when I listened to it, like, okay, let me take away what I like and just listen. The production on all the songs and like the flow of it and everything is really good. For me personally, there's like one or two songs on there that I would probably consistently listen to, and the rest is all like, it's good, like it's fine. You know, I put it on when I work, but it's not like I just need ignorant shit. You know
No. I feel like people that are saying that's trash and shit like that, like they just like listening to ignorant music, which is not bad for the most part. I like listening to like stupid hype shit inside of the gym.
Oh,
but to say that it's trash,
it's not trash. It's not trash. I mean, it's not my.
It's good music. It's good. It's not your go-to.
Megan Thee Stallion, that one song with the baby, that shit is a mega super fucking thumper, dude.
I replay that shit. What workout was it? I think it was Saturday workout. I literally just had it on repeat for my whole workout. I worked out for like 3 hours.
Literally,
it was the only song. It was the only song that I was playing that day. So
I saw someone had posted it, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna listen to it. And then the song came on in the gym, and I was like, oh shit, this is good. What is that? And then I looked it up. And...
Fun fact: she lives in my apartment complex.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's surprising.
Yeah, it is actually. I mean, she's probably moving out soon. But
you saw her?
No, so if you go on her Instagram page and you look at some of the pictures that she has when she's at home, is literally my apartment complex. And she drops a freestyle in the fucking garage. So I'm like, this chick lives like in my apartment complex. Like her apartment makeup is literally the same as mine. I'm like, that's the way my room is set up. So I'm just like, oh, she lives here.
That's crazy.
And I've seen people that look like rappers like walking around. And I remember when I moved in, they said that a lot of rappers like to come up to the 7th floor where it's like this lounge spot, and they like to film music videos there. So I guess they were talking about her.
Yeah. Is Texas like that? Is there like a lot of famous people in the city, or is it just like hit or miss?
Hit or miss for sure. Like there's a mall here. There's a mall here. If you go to the mall here, I feel like everyone looks like a rapper.
Dude,
so
malls
like,
here.
You don't know who you're running into. You're like, this could be someone. I don't know.
Like they're iced out, and I was a teenager the other day, and I was looking at this dude, and I was like, this guy, like, if that shit's all real, that's gotta be like $500,000 of shit he's wearing. But I mean, who knows? Could be fake. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Igor, you didn't. I mean, you're a Tyler Creator guy. This just wasn't it.
Nah, I wasn't it. all you have to do is put out 10 minutes, listen to it, and you'll be like, oh, okay. Like, you'll be like, yeah, okay, this isn't for me. Literally.
Interesting.
It's just like beats. It's like hipster. It's the type of music that hipsters will listen to as they're sniffing crack with their girlfriend, like in the passenger side.
This is really profound.
Listen to the fucking beats. The distortion in his voice. It's really good. Like,
fuck yeah, bro. All right, Sean, throw the first topic at us.
Boom.
The reason I mentioned, Russ drop, obviously I want to know how that went for you. I'm glad that it went well. But the drop of your Get Better Today apparel, it's just, I was curious because, I have not done this yet, but I'm sure a lot of people are just unfamiliar, like how much work and preparation and just like, like you said, for the past couple of days, you've just been nonstop with like packing shit up, organizing orders and stuff like that. I was just curious to know like what work goes into all of that, because, I'm sure a lot of people listening have more, conventional jobs. And that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about today. Just like what it's like, having your own business and doing stuff like that.
Yeah. So like, it's a little bit weird because when you okay, let's say like you're just purchasing a shirt online, you don't really think about anything. You're just like, I'm gonna buy this shit and I want it as soon as I buy it. So I'm the person behind the screen. I'm like taking care of literally everything. So website, inventory checks, pricing, shipping, all that shit. I'm the person that's taking care of that. Like I have to go pick up the shirt, put the design in. Like it's just it's a long process. Like this launch probably took probably like 3 to 4 months, just kind of like planning it out a little bit. And then like first you get the person to design whatever shirt you want. Then after that, you go to a couple of different printing companies and hopefully you find one that kind of like is able to do what you want. Then after that, you pay for the bulk, get it, make sure everything is straight. Then you want to market it. And after you market it, you want to make sure you're marketing it properly. And then you set up for the launch, you launch. And then that's when the like really hard shit comes. Cause then like there's certain things with people like emailing you about like wrong address. Maybe they put in the wrong size. And it's like when you're running a small business to a certain extent, like you're the person that's taking care of all of that shit.
Yeah.
Unless you bring someone on board. But for the most part, for people like me that have like social media accounts and like we run a business through that, it's just like one person doing all of it.
That's wild.
Yeah. So it's very time consuming. I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's just very time consuming. Like it would take from, let's say from like 7 a.m. all the way up until I go to sleep.
Yeah. No,
that's how launch weeks are.
At 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Tina does all that for me, and she is just, when she's doing it, it's like she's unavailable for 3 or 4 days. Like it's a lot of shit, and I cannot, like I was telling Russ, all that extra stuff, the little hitches, like shit gets lost in the mail, fucking all that other extra little stuff, like it's just such a fucking pain. I remember I used to have to drive down to East LA, pick up the shirts, bring them back here, and there's always like 2 or 3 shirts that are like wrong, or we didn't get the right size. So now your inventory is wrong on the website, and then, but it already sold. So now you got to hit the guy up and be like, hey man, look, we don't even have that shirt. So it's like, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Also, when you were talking about, you come up with the idea in your head of what you want, that process is hard sometimes. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
it is.
Like we see the finished product, but it literally could take months just to come up with like fucking the right, because I've learned artistically, it's hard to describe something you want in your head to another person and for them to truly understand what you want and then make it. You know what I mean? It's like gonna be a lot of trial and error.
And that's the thing. Like I'm not a great communicator. Like when it comes to artistically, so like I'm saying things and like it makes sense in my head, but to the person they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So it's also about finding someone that is able to understand what you're saying, and it takes a while. It takes a while to find someone like that. And I found a couple of people that kind of understand what the fuck I'm saying when I say like I want this and I want to make it look this type of way, and like they understand the like just the design that I'm having inside of my head. Because sometimes it's just hard to communicate. Sometimes, man.
Yeah, it's super tedious. Do you want Get Better today to eventually be to the point where you have clothing all the time? You just consistently are making clothes all the time?
Yeah, but I would have to scale. I can't do that by myself.
Yeah, no shot.
So right now I'm just focused on just dropping merch. I'll just have drops and then like maybe little restocks here and there, just to make sure that everyone gets what they want. But I do want to have a point to where like you can always pull up to a website and cop something. But that would have to be scaled. Like I would have to have a couple people under me to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always hit up Bart and Gio and ask Christian and be like, how did you guys start? When did you know that? I mean, they've done it. I literally was there watching them. I remember the day when they were like, yeah, we're not going to do it ourselves anymore. We have a company that's doing all of it. Like now, you know, I don't know if that's what they still do, but.
Yeah, it's like I have someone that works for Christian does distribution. So now he's like, he started his own distribution company this year. So like I may explore. The thing is, it's like, it's tough to like the business that like he does the distribution for Alpha Elite. So like the volume that he handles is fucking ridiculous. And he also does the distribution for Buff Bunny Collection. And those are like $1 million businesses. So it's like, it's almost like, am I big enough to even go to him yet in that sense? So I would have to figure out, but we're cool. But that would have to be like a meeting that I have in the future. Cause it's like, if I'm only moving like maybe 1,000 or so or 1,500 units every launch, like, is it worth like getting your help to do this? So we'll see.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like thinking about like when the time is to like say, okay, it's like time to get people under me and outsource or whatever. Yeah, I've been like, I've been wanting to just make like competition tees, like whether it's for my lifters or just to sell in general. And like, I totally sympathize with that idea of like, you have this idea in your head and you're like, okay, like who the fuck do I trust to like make this brainchild like come to life the way that I want it to?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about like all the frustrations I had, like whenever I was starting to create stuff. It just because you say one thing and then like you send it over to the designer and then he gets back to you and it's just like not at all what you're thinking. You're just like, fuck, man.
I know, and then it's a pain because now you got to be like, hey man, like honestly, this is what I wanted, but they already put in the time to make the thing, right? So now it's just like, I'm not really sure how that works. I know someone who I could ask about it that I talk to frequently, but it's like if they put in like an hour to make something for you and you're totally unhappy with it, is there unlimited, like, obviously there can't be like unlimited redos and then you just pay for the one that you keep? Maybe there is. Maybe they're like, you know what, I really believe in Russ. I know that this guy is going to be huge or whatever. I'm willing to just bite the bullet and keep fixing it until he's happy.
If I'm paying you, better fix that shit. Hell no, there's no extra charge to fix shit. You didn't get what I wanted the first time. So nah. We gotta run that back.
Branding is really fucking annoying. I mean, my logo's super simple, but I remember in the beginning it was just like I probably saw like 50 different flex things until I saw one that I was like, I like that. As simple as it was, it's just.
And it'll be like one little detail that's different, and then you're just like, oh yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when you were making the logos, Joey. Like when you were putting ideas. This was like what, 3-4 years ago now. Putting the.
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. The design ideas in the Facebook group and.
Asking you guys like which one you guys liked and stuff like that. And Russ, when did you? I don't know if we touched on it. I think we may have briefly when we were talking about football. When did you know? Okay, like I can do this for a living, and I don't need to like do school and stuff.
When did I know? Like when did I make that decision?
Yeah, like did you just kind of put it out there and then it started doing all right, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is doing well, let me get better at it? Or were you like, all right, I have nothing right now. I'm literally just gonna try this, and hopefully it works.
So I was at Tech, and then I was just like, yo, I'm done playing football. Like, I don't know what it is, but football's not making me happy anymore. So I stopped playing football. And then so Texas Tech is 8 hours away from home. So I was like, I'm just gonna go back home to Houston and go to U of H for a little bit and see, what I'm interested in. I just kept working out, doing fitness. I was like, all right, let me start my Instagram account. I'm gonna start YouTube this summer. And then I was still in school during this time. And then like I had a sudden pop on YouTube and Instagram because I became like an athlete or whatever. And I
How
started
did he
making
find
money.
you?
I was just at the gym.
Oh,
working out.
shit.
Yeah, like when they had the grand opening, and I was like, I didn't watch him at the time, and like I didn't really care much about like lifestyle fitness. Like I don't care. I'm more so of like what the fuck is this? Oh shit. I'm more so of like a actual like the person I was a fan of was like Bradley Martin and CT Fletcher and shit. So I knew of him, but like I wasn't like super like fanboyish. But I just went to go work out. And like he's like, oh shit, man, you're strong as hell. And then I'd just be there every single day recording and working out. And he's like, oh, are you a YouTuber? And I was like, yeah. So he's like, yo, I want to bring you on to be the first athlete or whatever. So then that kind of got the ball rolling, and I started making money, and I was just like, I'm in school for kinesiology. Like, if I'm already making money doing what I'm doing, why would I keep spending money on school? Like, I could just get my career started now. So I was just like, all right, I'm done. But if I was in school for anything else, like, I wouldn't have done that at all.
You said so you're in school for kinesiology?
Yeah, I was in school for
exercise. So for you, it was like it was like an opportunistic time. Like that happened, and you're like, all right, like this is where my life is gonna go. Or were you like, or were you already like, kinesiology is not for me. Like I need to be doing something else with my life.
No, it was. I mean, like, if I was in school for like a legit, like, degree, like somewhere you needed a degree, I was just like, I would have stayed. I would have never left. But since it was kinesiology and I was kind of like already doing the same shit anyways, I was just like, well, what's the point of paying for this if I could already, like, people with kinesiology degrees would kill to have the opportunity that I have. So why squander it right now?
Yeah, that's interesting, especially. I know you guys probably aren't too much into gaming drama, but there's a guy who in the last 14 months literally makes like $5 million a month just playing Fortnite. But before that, 14 months ago,
You said a month?
A month.
Bruh.
That's what? Probably more than that. Probably honestly more than that. We believe. I mean, I did some math, but no, it's Tfue. He's a guy. He's literally the most talented gamer. Well, he used to play a game that I used to play called Destiny, and he was fucking nuts. The reason why I bring him up is because I don't know if you guys know what FaZe Clan is, but basically it reminded me of Christian basically seeing Russ. Alpha League was big at this point, established already when they found you.
No.
They weren't.
No, so not like, I mean, they like, he was, but not the actual brand Alpha League.
How big was Christian? Did he have millions of subs yet?
Nah, he had like 300.
Okay, so he's starting to get there. But basically,
yeah.
For all those youngins out there, the reason why I brought up FaZe is because Tfue was unbelievably talented, and their main guy found him, and was like, this guy's fucking nuts. He's literally better than the top 2 players right now. I want him part of my team. And then he had him sign a contract. And he fucking, like, literally that month that they signed him, his, if you look at the Twitch metrics, he was like 100 views. And it just fucking, he basically had the exposure of the brand of FaZe behind him. And it bolstered him up. And then he had a good personality. He was fucking insane at the game. And then he took off and he became, there was a point where he had, I remember it was like 76,000 subs, which is minimum. It's like $5 per sub. Minimum $5 per sub, and there's different tiers. There's $10 per sub. There's $20 per sub. Plus, like, he gets premium ads. It's insane. They get sponsorships. Like, it's so many different revenue streams coming in at that point. But basically, he was just a talented guy with nothing. The org found him, and they gave him that boost. So I mean, obviously, like, that's a very lucrative fucking, like, you have this big, kind of entity that came behind a talent, and they bolster them up, right? It's kind of like when Usher found Justin Bieber, right? He was just some kid on the internet, and he found him, and then he fucking exploded bigger than probably what Usher is. I don't know. That's hard. That's debatable. But would you say would you say that they helped you to the point where that really gave you like some legs? And okay, so that kind of reaffirms the whole thing where like it's really, really, really hard if you're gonna try to do it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, just if for straight up fitness, what would you consider yourself as what kind of YouTuber are you? Is it more lifestyle fitness, or is it like just you, or would you not like to be classified and you don't even know what you are?
Shit, I feel like my YouTube videos. Huh?
I said, did he just assume your YouTube classification?
I would say my shit it's just a training log. I don't really vlog that much outside of the gym. Like if you watch my shit, it's just a training log. Like all I'm doing is just filming my squat, bench, and deadlift and telling you how I feel. I'm like, hey, today I feel like shit. Today I feel really good, and that's about it. It's just, and I like mix in like a couple funny things here and there, but for the most part, I don't feel like it's a lifestyle type of channel. It's just I lift.
I think from a physicality standpoint, you're definitely above average. You also have personality, and you also bring a certain type of energy when people watch your stuff. So that's why they keep coming back. And they Alpha League could have got behind you, and you could have been a potato, and nothing would have came of it.
That's what I always say about just like everything in life. Like you could ask for a handout, but it won't come to fruition because like you don't deserve it. So let's say like okay, so it's like I always say it's like this, right? Like a lot of kids are like, yo, how do I get sponsored by so and so company? Like how do I get sponsored? It's like, don't worry about like if you focus on building yourself up, those companies will come to you. If you're asking how do I become sponsored and shit like that, then you probably don't deserve to be sponsored.
Yeah.
Like,
and then 2 weeks later, they're sponsored by a company that is sponsored.
Dreaming elegance.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you guys all have. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but you guys all have experience with sponsors. What to your understanding, or to like, what is the idea of a good sponsor? Like, just examples. Like, give me an example of what you think. I'll just start with. And I'll never forget. Years ago, Leanna was out here. We're going on a hike, and she was talking to me about sponsors, and she told me that your value to a sponsor is never going to equal what they can pay you. So you need to make sure that you're being, taken care of. And that just like I always like remember that, because it's like it's true. Like if they could truly give you what you're giving them, they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't be able to. But at the same time, without them, there would be no deal. So like, what's a good sponsor?
Are you saying like a name of an example, or are you just saying
no? You don't even have to
I can tell you a bad sponsor.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or like not like a company, but like one that you have to buy their stuff and you just get like a discount. I think that's a bad sponsor. I think a good sponsor will be, at the very minimum, gives you their stuff for free, and that's the minimum.
Yeah.
Better, like that's like tier 1. Tier 2 would be like they give you their stuff, and then you have a discount code, and they pay you when people pay that discount code. And then the tier above that is they just pay you a stipend.
Yeah,
I'm assuming for some sort of some sort of exchange, like you gotta rep their brand or help with brand recognition or some shit.
Yeah, like you have to make a post and they pay you for it.
Yeah, I think athletes need to pay attention to like what's in the contract. Like certain companies have like post requirements. Like I'm sure you guys have seen it too. It's like you have to post like here. I would never sign a contract that makes me do that, because then like you're trying to tell me how to talk to my audience, or like talk to people that follow me, which is like you're not me. Like you don't know how to talk to people that follow me. Allow me to do that. So like what I try to push for is make sure that I have, it's a term that's kind of like used, but I guess like organic pushing. So it's like there's no required, there's no required posts. I don't have to post a certain amount of times a month or anything like that. It's just, I get what I put in. So I get my monthly monthly stipend, and then discount code or commission. So it's like, commission. So it's like if I push it hard and I have a good month, then that's on me. If I don't, then that's on me again. But I just can't sign a contract that tells me, oh, on Wednesday you have to post about this, and like they'll maybe they'll hit me up privately. It's like, hey, you haven't posted this week. It's like, yo, shut the fuck up.
I mean, and people aren't dumb, if you're putting something that we know is not coming from you. You don't talk like this. We've been following you for a long time. This is definitely not coming from you in there. It's gonna seem fake. It's not gonna seem genuine. It's gonna potentially hurt yourself and whatever brand you're trying to build of yourself. You know what I mean? And what do you want to be known as? Some people, I also though they get to a point. I mean, this is like so rare of a person, but they get so big, or it doesn't even matter. They're so big that like they might lose some people, but it does not fucking matter because they're already so huge that their algorithm, like they have the wheels running under it already, and they could just be you could just post all the dumb shit you want online with all the discount codes or whatever, and it's literally never gonna it's not gonna negatively hurt you. It'll be like that. It'll like, it might hurt you a little, but then it's just gonna go right back up because you've already gotten to the point where you're unstoppable.
Also, I feel like some of these companies don't understand, like, you could oversaturate your word. Like, if I constantly push your shit, people are just gonna be annoyed and not buy your shit. Absolutely. So it's like you telling me, I think you telling me I need to post that much right now. Herbstrong.
I don't even know what that is. Dude, I mute everything on IG. Everything is muted. I've literally muted half of the
CBD. It's CBD, right?
Yeah. DM everybody about shit. The thing is, like, these companies don't realize that, like, when you're pushing for somebody to make posts, right? Like, it's hurting everybody involved because the person who you're forcing to do this is going to get turned off by it. The people seeing it are going to know it's bullshit. They're going to get turned off by it. And then since the audience is turned off by it, who the fuck's buying your stuff? Them. So then the company gets hurt by that, right? Like, it's a reflection of your company in a positive way if, like, the sponsored athlete posts positively about your stuff, not prompted to do so.
I also think it comes from people that are very disconnected with the community. You know what I mean? Like, we're literally in there. Like, we're dealing with people all the time. We know, how like Russ said, how to talk to people, and when you have this like higher up or maybe they're a business minded person, but they're not very, in my opinion, a smart business minded person will know how to deal with people. They also have to truly be like a people person. You know what I mean? Like, they know how to.
Man is like anybody can run numbers, or rather, somebody who runs numbers can run numbers, but not have a successful business because, like, getting transactions to go through, you have to be able to appeal to all different types of people. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when PR Breaker first gave me my code, I was actually surprised. I was like, damn, I didn't know people cared about what I liked and what I said that much, like it was, it kind of made me realize, I mean, Sean, you were at Collegiates, like,
yeah,
we realize our influence, you know what I mean? And we're the ones shaking the hands and dealing with these kids and talking to people. And then when you have this other entity come in and they're just like, hey, like, push this thing. It's like, nah, man, that would be me. I'd be doing that youngin over there a disservice if I were to do that. You know what I mean? This is not how that works. So it's got to be, if it's generally a helpful thing that you think, hey, man, like, you don't have to do this, but I think this could benefit you if you want it. Here's a code. Great. Like, I love Taupe. I think I'm probably the most consistent Taupe user. Like, since I started taking it, I've taken it every day, like literally every single day. So I don't mind telling people about it. I'm not even sponsored by them. I don't mind telling people about it.
Damn it! So shout out DENOVO SUPPS.
Yeah,
Utopia.
I like Taupe.
Protein. Use my code NORI, NORI. and that's my sponsor.
Yeah, I mean it's a product that I use all the time for like a coffee, right? So I'm always on it, and I buy like 6 tubs at a time. PR Breaker, I use it before every workout. Guaranteed, if I'm working out, if I'm going heavy, I'm definitely taking PR Breaker. That's just my thing. Russ has his supplements. I'm sure John has his, but we use them, so it's like, okay.
What?
1,3 DMAA.
Actually, let me see if I have it.
I took that shit years ago at a USPA meet, and I was just like,
wall.
I mass bought like 1,3 DMA when it like got illegal, or like they're like before like it looks like cocaine. Actually, like I don't use it anymore.
John goes to one EDC and now he fucking does all the drugs.
Basically.
Joe, and now that you have the PR Breaker, we get to see these stories every day. You driving to the gym.
Woo! I haven't. I need to bring him back.
Those stories are fucking hilarious.
Fuck, what the hell was I gonna say? And I'll get DMs like, hey, bro, the stories are on point, man. I'm just like, thanks. I'm just shit that I like. Speaking, since we're talking about social media, this is just a topic that I'm sure all of us have seen, maybe have partaken in at a time. I know I did years ago when I was much younger. But I'm just, why do you guys think it is that people post things vague, like very vague, when they're clearly talking about someone, rather than just kind of like speaking to that person? Not even tagging them would be the worst thing. Just talk to them. Just talk to them.
Subtweeting? Are you talking about subtweeting and like subbing someone?
I don't know what subtweeting is.
Just you're indirectly talking about someone without mentioning them, so you have like plausible.
Yeah.
If you're like, man, I really hate it when when fitness influencers constantly whore themselves out with X company, right?
And they just somebody just did that.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I know who that is, instead of, I mean, I guess in that case, they don't know that person, so maybe this is their only way.
That's why. It's easy.
It is easy.
Hey, if someone says that, I'll just be like, hey, yo, shut the fuck up, man.
For that, yeah, in that scenario.
Pussies, that's why.
I just think because of how social media is and how people are interacting with people these days, it's hard for them to just have conversations with people like dude, literally when I was in high school, I had a flip phone. We had flip phones. Like we had to, when you had and it was like really inefficient to use, so you had to like meet up with someone if you wanted to talk to them. You know what I mean? And I think that means way more than just like posting shit, very vague. That shit is so pointless to me. I just want to see. I did a video on it. I want to see people just like there. If you're having, I couldn't. Sean, you're smart, right?
What's up?
So if you have a disagreement with someone,
yeah, and
you want to like resolve that disagreement or whatever, I'm all for confrontation if the outcome is positive, but confrontation by definition is supposed to be negative. Like it's a negative thing, right? It's a combative thing.
I think it has a connotation of being negative just because it's hard to do, right? Like with social, like there's so much negativity in the world, and just over like ridiculously stupid things, meaningless things, because like everybody will have their own thoughts about like, what they don't like or they want to complain about. But like without social media, you'd have to like actually confront somebody and be like, hey, like I don't when you do this, or I think it's annoying when you do this, right? And like the outcome from that can be negative. So people don't do that. But now you have this option. It's like, oh, I can just fucking type a few words, press, send to my story, and it's done. Right? It's just like it's given so many people an easy way out to avoid confrontation. And I think that's why people in general are just like not, transparent about things, or like not able to communicate well anymore, or like they're not willing to confront like problems because you don't have to in most cases.
But if you do it, and if in your heart you want the positive thing to come out, there's nothing wrong with like putting whatever ego aside to like get to that high ground, to get to that positive. For example,
It's a
Russ,
big hump, though. It's a big hump. So
for some
Also,
people,
I feel like people just want to hate. Like there's just a little hate.
yeah,
Little hate on
I mean,
a
it's
Monday.
fun to hate on. It's fun to hate on, like, like TV shows and shit. That's fun. That's fine. Nobody's getting hurt from that. But for example, Russ, you may have some experience with this. And the same guy that I brought up, that gamer, he blew up so fast. His contract was like for him at the time, but now that he's bringing in X amount, the contract that he has is like really, really bad now that he's blown up like that. Does that make sense? Have you ever been in a situation where like you had a deal and then you knew that you were worth way more than what that that original deal was, and then you were like, damn, like I'm being screwed. I need to like renegotiate this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I had it with I'm not gonna say the name. Actually, never mind. Damn, I was about to just like.
Oh shit!
No, but it wasn't even like a bad thing because like I understood at the time like I signed this contract when I was here, and then now I'm here, so it's like I'm gonna be properly compensated for that. So that's just a conversation you have to go and have with them. It was more so like, hey, like I'm just letting you guys know. I let it out. I was like, hey, when you guys signed me, I was here. Now I'm here. I think that I think like I should scale to this amount of payment for a month, and it was more so just like if it didn't happen, I just would be like, all right, well, you guys don't really value what I bring here. I'll just go and find another company that does. Like it wasn't like anything like bad or confrontational like in a negative sense, but it was just something I knew that I had to do. I was like, we have to come back to the table and renegotiate because I don't think this is fair anymore.
Yeah, but you went into that situation where maybe another person might not know their worth, or they might be afraid to confront this person that's giving them money.
Yeah, no, I was definitely afraid. Not afraid, but it's like it's just.
I mean,
with money and shit. It's just kind of like it's hard to be like, yo, pay me more. Like,
I mean,
that's basically what you're saying. I know, but it's like. But it's hard to do, and it's hard to be like, "Yo, I need more money. Like what you're paying me isn't enough." That's basically what you're saying.
You're not.
You just gotta.
Oh, go ahead.
What's up? No, yeah, you just gotta find a way to just be like, "Look, man, if I truly feel like I'm worth more and I don't say anything, then that's on me. At least I know that I did my due diligence and I went to this person and be like, hey, man, like, I grew, so I think I need more. If you disagree with that, then that's cool. Then I'm just gonna have to like leave the contract. I'm gonna have to like terminate the contract then. So
yeah, you're not a person who. One of the reasons why I like interacting with you is because that you played football a little after the time that I did, and you probably grew up with those morals and values where when you have. Like you meet the threat, whatever the threat is, you just meet it yourself. Yeah. Like just go to it and handle it.
I don't want to meet it, but I have.
I know, but it's you got a positive thing came from it, right? You're probably still with them, so everything worked out, right? And had you not, it's like when I'm sure when Robert Downey did Iron Man. They probably didn't pay him much, and then it fucking blew up, and then he went, like, his agent or whatever went back and was like, okay, like, he clearly did this good, and eventually he got to a point where Marvel was just like, oh, dude, we know that we've thrown Iron Man in any movie that's just gonna hit $1 billion instantly, like, we're gonna pay him X amount, plus X amount on the back end, whatever, and then everybody's happy, you know what I mean? So, in that case, his talent, kind of did the work for him. But sometimes it's good to keep an eye on that. I mean, you got to know your worth. Like literally, you got to know your worth. And I mean, having a sponsor is fine. Like it's cool, but it shouldn't be the goal. Like,
bro, let's talk about how people are getting fucked out here in the powerlifting community, man.
I mean, go ahead, tell them, cuz.
I feel like. I don't know. There's like two sides to it, in my opinion. Like, there's obviously number one that, like, I have friends that operate within the bodybuilding community, and I see it's so weird talking about money, but like a lot of people that are watching this are probably interested in like what it's like to be a social media influencer or trying to get to that route. But like in the bodybuilding community, people make a shit ton of money, like a lot of money. And in comparison to the powerlifting community, I just feel like a lot of people are being shortchanged. So
Do you think like they're similar? They have similar pull, but they're just not getting the same.
Yes, to a certain extent. Like, obviously, maybe not as many followers, but I feel like some of these people are very vital to the success of these powerlifting companies, and they're not being properly compensated for it. Like, obviously, like the money in bodybuilding is a lot higher, but the rate at which powerlifters are getting compensated for what they do for companies is a lot lower than what the bodybuilding and like social media influencer companies are getting are giving out to other people. So I just feel like I want powerlifters to be a lot more smart. Like, getting free shit does not mean anything. Like it means nothing to me to give a shirt, like one of my shirts, to someone that has 100,000 subscribers. That's nothing to me. But for that person that has 100,000 subscribers to then post themselves wearing that shirt, that's probably like,
Even if you convert
15
1%, that's huge.
Yeah, that's like probably another $1,500 in my pocket, and then all you got was just a free shirt. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah,
like, that makes no.
So, I mean, you guys probably know this about me. My thought process is always like you see something and then you see it for what it is, but I'm always thinking like, what is under it? I'm always thinking like, what is under it? What is behind it? What is the thought process behind it? Like, what is really happening, right? And I think a lot of people just think surface. They think, oh, I'm getting a shirt. This is so awesome. I'm so awesome. They gave me a shirt. This is a gift, right?
They gave me
a shirt. But what is under it? You know what I mean?
Why did they give you that shirt?
Yeah, why did they give you the shirt? What if and then they're so happy, so then they post it and it's just like, like it's different. I don't know. It's at the same time, maybe to you, you don't really care and you're just happy to have a shirt and you just want to throw it up. Then that's fine. It's like, you know what I mean?
like, bro, so think about it. So I have this conversation with so many people that that like in the powerlifting community that are my friends. I'm just like, we'll start talking about sponsorships and stuff like that, and then it's like, oh, so like how's the relationship with so and so? It's like, oh yeah, they give me free shirts. I'm like, damn, that's dope. Well, like, where else? Oh no, they just give me free shirts and I post about it. I'm just like, damn, man, they're jigging you, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I get the whole mutual love thing. It's like, if you like a company, I might come across a company that I genuinely like, and I want other people to buy their shit too. And I'll just off the strength of me liking their shit, I'll post it. I'll be like,
when you wear my shirts, that's how I feel. When you wear my shirts, I'm like, that's my boy. He knows I'll rep his shit anywhere. Like,
I to work out. Like, sometimes that's what I wear to work out. So it's like, I'll post it. But at the same time, like, if you know that the company that you're posting is a business and they're giving you free shit and that's y'all's working relationship, like, I feel like you should just be a little bit smarter and do your due diligence to then be like, hey, like, I'm bringing X amount of value to this company. I should be properly compensated for it. So I don't know. I just get like, I get very like, not sad, but I'm just like, damn, man, they don't even know.
I want to talk. You want to talk to the people at the top and kind of see where they're coming from. Are they shitty? Do they really just want to give this person something because they like them? It's weird. It's like a gray area sometimes, and it's just like, I remember on the Breakfast Club they were talking about you got to know your worth and the stuff that you wear. It was Charlemagne specifically was talking about like the stuff that you wear. Someone's gonna benefit from it. Like, I'm wearing Adidas right now. I don't think people are gonna go out and buy a bunch of Adidas things, but
that's a perfect example because Charlemagne literally only wears clothes from Black-owned businesses. That's all he does. So because he knows him wearing this hoodie is gonna bring probably like 1,000 more customers to that company. So he's like, I want to help my community out. So he's just gonna wear Black-owned shit. Like, he makes a conservative effort to only wear Black-owned shit. So like, when people do go shop, it's because they're helping the community out. So it's like, he understands his power, and I feel he understands his power and his value, and he exercises that for certain companies that he fucks with. So I think certain people, like, they do the same thing, but they don't look on the back end and be like, okay, well, shit, I'm bringing this.
Who am I helping because of this? Do I care about this entity? You know, if it's just like a company, like a big, just cold-hearted company, like I wouldn't,
Feeding the machine.
you know, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just,
But that's why sometimes it's kind of hard to talk about because it's like you don't want to seem like a money grubbing like whore. But at the same,
no. It's not even that.
it's
It's
like
just,
when you talk about this type of shit, for me, like sometimes it can kind of come off like all I care about is like all you care about is money, like blah blah blah. But it's like, nah, I just understand that like certain like if I'm wearing something and like a company's giving it to me, I like you sometimes you just can't be satisfied just with free shit.
yeah. I mean, I
Because
think this mainly applies to like um, like the heavy hitters, like big corporations. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, it doesn't even have to be that big. It just has to be big enough to where like they're not worried about making ends meet. They're just, you know, they're just trying to keep. I think, you know, they get so caught up.
okay, I'll end my part with this. It's like if you can't be used, you're useless. So like obviously if these companies are sending you shit, they see you as useful. So it's like if they're benefiting from something on your end, I think you should do your due diligence to make sure you benefit on your end as well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't allow the relationship to be so one sided.
Yeah. I think it's I think this will be an eye-opening like part of this podcast for people because there are going to be a ton of people watching who are sponsored by you know a powerlifting supplement company or apparel company or equipment company or just something in general like but it is tough because you know with you know if you're comparing a you know a bodybuilding you know supplement company or you know a massive company like Adidas let's say like obviously as you scale up you're able to pay such a greater percentage of like what someone earns for your company than some of these smaller ones and it's like a function of just like you know a lot of these companies in powerlifting are really so small because it's such a small community that it's just like fuck, you know, if we give you what you're worth, it's like we won't, you know, we can't operate.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
people have to realize, people also have to realize you'll never ever get what you're worth. By the way, like that's literally possible. Like you have to understand if you don't own something, you're getting fucked. But like you just have to understand that's just how it goes. Not even fucked, but you're just it's just not possible to give you what you're truly worth if you're working for a company. That's why it's important to start your own shit.
So that company is assuming they're gonna have some sort of following themselves, and there might be some crossover between whatever pull they have and you having your own stuff, and hopefully not only are you getting compensated by them, but you have your own shit that you sell, and people can support you that way. So it's like, you know, you gotta have. That's the thing about clothing, right? Like when I look at Bradley Martin, he by just growing his following, he constantly has things to sell. You know what I mean? By simply growing his following, it can directly. Holy shit! I can't talk. It can directly be translated into some sort of an income in many different ways. Whether they watch his YouTube videos, or they buy his clothes, buy his supplements, fucking sign up at the gym, whatever it is. He's got all these different things, you know. And once you get to that certain point, you're kind of set. And then all you got to do is to directly increase your growth. It's like you just grow your following, and then you could worry about that, you know. And in his case, he could literally just do anything that's going to go viral, and it's going to produce. It'll hopefully produce, you know, ends, you know. And then it comes down to, you know, what do you want to be known for? Like, what do you, you know, like like with him, it's like what he's doing when I look at it is like fun. It's just like a fun thing. You're having fun in the gym. Yeah, he does like all those weird lifts when lifting girls and stuff, but that's kind of like his thing, and I think people to some extent think it's cool. Russ, you're a lifter. You have goals. You're working towards, you know, being the best lifter in the world. You know, you there's a lot of other things that come with you, and I think people like that. You know, and then you can benefit from people following you. Like they watch your videos, they might buy your stuff, this and that. I don't know. When you do your drops, do you like get bigger and bigger each time, or you're just like, I know that I should only do this amount because I know that this will sell, and I want to keep it kind of exclusive, or like how do you scale it?
Well, that's just like you have to. So when you design certain shirts or certain products, it's like, okay, the demand for this certain product is this amount, and it's just kind of like feeling out. It's like, okay, it's just understanding certain things are going to be wanted more than others. So it's like, all right, like a black shirt that has a pretty simple design that should sell a lot of shirts. So maybe I'll order a little bit more of that. There would probably be a shirt where I like it, but I don't know if like anyone else is gonna fuck with that heavy, so I'm not gonna order as much. So it's definitely like a kind of like a feeling out process. There's certain things that I'm just not even sure about, and I won't order that much. But Shopify allows me to see like the rate at which something moves and how many times people have viewed it. So then I know if that product needs to be ordered in a higher quantity the next time. So it's just like constantly monitoring that kind of stuff and filling it out. But at the same time, I have to be careful because I could get to a point where the amount of orders that I have cannot be fulfilled properly. Like, because I'm only a one-man army, so like this launch was close to pushing the limits of what I could do by myself. I feel like so. It was pretty hard.
So you don't even want, like, for quality of life, you don't want to go over that.
Yeah, like I should have ordered more. Like the way, like things sold out pretty fast, and I should have ordered more of each design of the shirt. But I just know that there's no way I would have been able to complete that in one weekend. And then there would have been people like hitting me up, yo, where's my package, blah blah blah. So it just wouldn't be possible unless I scaled and brought more people on board.
Yeah. Do you foresee, like, obviously anything can happen between now and like your next, big launch, but do you, I guess, because you said
Go to the bathroom real quick.
All right. You said,
Go ahead.
You feel like this was like the breaking point for like, or like the tip of like what you could do by yourself. Do you feel like, whenever the next big launch comes around, is it going to be like, okay, I'll sell probably somewhere around the same, or like, fuck, I've seen consistent growth, and like now, it might be time for me to outsource.
Are you asking like kind of like when do you feel like shit will just kind of cap?
Well, I'm asking like, the next time that you have your, a big launch, do you foresee that being another thing that you can handle by yourself, or is like the trend, predicting that? All right, I'm not gonna.
I don't. This. It depends. Like, so if I make like another huge launch, I don't think I'm gonna do it by myself. I'll probably call over a friend, and like both of us have our laptops open. I'll be like, all right, you take care of X amount of orders, and I'll take care of the next X amount, because I want to get bigger. Like, I just don't want to just be in my my apartment, just like moving shit out my trap house,
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But I have goals and ideas that are like down the road that I don't even want to talk about right now. But it just this can't continue inside my apartment. There's just no way. My apartment's fucked up right now.
I mean, I hope it doesn't have to continue inside your apartment. Like, obviously it's big goals, so it shouldn't be the quicker you get out of that, the better.
It's all about scaling. Like, it's almost kind of like I was gonna try to do like a lifting comparison, but I can't even think of one right now. But it's just scaling. It's just like knowing what you're able to handle, and it's like once you're not able to handle anymore, then you're gonna bring another person on board, and yada yada. So it's rewarding, but it's a lot to handle for one person.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, John, how come I haven't seen you come out with? Have you come out with like any design before or not?
No, I am not creative enough for that. I don't know. I just literally have like too much going on that I have like an idea for a company that I would probably like make it the name of like my gym, and maybe eventually make it like an actual gym, and then like do a shirt company. Oh shit, Joey's back. Let's stop talking shit about him.
I'm content with my existence. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
No, like I've thought about it, but it's too much right now.
That's fair. I know John, since Russ mentioned lifting, I know John wanted to talk about this, but Bench Worlds is currently going on. I think they just finished up the raw portion of it, and I know John wanted to bring up the topic of the the arch in the bench press.
Yes. And I figured, who better to talk about this with than Kiss My Arch?
Or he.
All right, so no joke. Like I've had this conversation with people. I would not be against a rule to control range of motion, because specifically at Bench Worlds, there are like a lot of countries that have like you don't see it as much in the U.S. Like usually it's just like we have like just big jack dudes who could bench a lot and they'll go to Bench Worlds, but like in other countries like Sweden or Japan, like they have lifters who are like bench specialists, and like. It's gotten to the point like you go and watch the meets, and especially like the lighter weight classes, the range of motions are literally getting to the point where you can almost touch like right off the unrack.
Yeah, that like 74 kilo dude, like I didn't even see the bar move. I mean, it was like the camera angle was far away, but I was like, did he go?
Yeah.
I think that trivializes powerlifting to a point.
I'm not against. But I think that the arch is not the way that you regulate it. And the reason I say that is just, everybody.
I think the grip is where you regulate it.
What's up?
I think the grip
Like, what
is
if
where
your
you have
hands
to
had to
regulate
be
it.
inside the ring?
That's exactly what I was going to say. So I don't think arch is the way that you can regulate it. I don't think the angle of your arm is a way to regulate it, because everyone's going to touch their chest at a certain point. So there are plenty of big boys who like will reach their chest, and maybe their elbows wouldn't be at 90 degrees or something like that. Like everyone's going to have a different level of how much they arch. You can't like fucking measure that mid-meet. But
also there's already like so much that a judge has to look at on the bench.
Yeah. I think the solution is grip width. I think that it's completely unfair that a 47 kilo woman or a 59 kilo man can grip just as wide as Ray Williams. Like think about like how
I literally said that. Like, same exact quote on a Reddit post, and some guy like replied like, "Oh, do you think girls shouldn't be able to drive either?" I'm like, "Fuck off, man!" like no, like
think about how Max
this girl is literally
brother?
like 4'11", and Ray Williams is I don't know 6 foot.
Yeah, he's like 6 foot 420 or whatever. It's like think about how max width feels for you. Like every one of us has tried benching max width. Well, maybe not you, John, but the rest of us have tried benching max grip before. And then think about how big Ray Williams' frame is, and like that's only as far as he could grip. In my opinion, like I don't know if you would be able to measure wingspan of lifters. Like maybe that would be a ridiculous thing to do, but maybe if you just made like it'd be as simple as measuring out a distance on the bar and just putting like a piece of fucking like red tape on it for the meet. And it's like lifters from this weight class to this weight class can only put their fingers on this ring. Lifters from this class to this class can only go on this ring. And lifters from this class to this class can go the max grip. And
I like it.
I agree.
I think that's the way that you should do it. Like obviously I benefit from, having an arch and max grip, but like I won't disagree that it's unfair that, every weight class has the same grip width.
Then why don't you say the same shit about sumo?
Because like sumo doesn't necessarily mean better.
Also, well, the reason I don't say this about
I mean, you're adjusting your stance with to gain mechanical advantage, so it's like
but
it's the same thing.
I pull more conventional than I do sumo.
Well, the thing is, there's
that's because you're actually strong and you're not like a fake
Sean.
Hey man, dude, I pulled over 6 conventional when I was like way smaller than I am now. So
I think sumo people should do conventional. Honestly, I think a lot of them should do it. Just it will make their sumo better, in my opinion. But
I mean, yeah, I think the 2 reasons that I don't say the same thing about sumo are, one, like the bar, you can't make the bar any bigger. Like we can't like keep pushing like the how long we make a bar.
Where the plates are. Yeah. You can put lines though and have them put their shins on certain areas.
I mean,
it made the bar longer.
I guess that could be an option, but my second reason, I guess, is the reason I don't agree with that, is just that the difference between like a deadlift or a squat from a bench, right, is like there's no contact point, right? Like there's a constraint on a bench press. You have to bring the bar to your chest. Like if you're squatting or deadlifting, you're you're moving through space without any sort of constraint, right? So like all the joint angles and everything are solely dictated by like your body, right? Like when you're benching, there's a physical contact point you have to reach. So if you're giving someone the advantage of being able to grip max width and then touch their chest, if their shoulders are like this wide, right? Like you have a mechanical advantage made by the bar that, bigger guys don't have, right? That's not the case when you're deadlifting or squatting.
Also, if someone with really good leverage for a lift is lifting more weight than someone who is vastly more muscular than them that does not have that leverage for that lift, when we say this person is stronger than that person, isn't it kind of like, are they? Like,
they're a better power lifter, not necessarily.
Yeah.
strong.
But we just say stronger. That we just say, oh, that guy's stronger. I mean, that guy would beat that guy's ass 10 times over, but that guy's lifting more weight. You see what?
That's a good point, because that's like where the physics of lifting come into play, right? Like, I'm sure if you had some jack dude, right? Like, let's say, let's take Ray Williams, for example, right? Let's take Ray Williams and let's take or maybe not Ray. Let's take, let's just make up a person who's jacked as hell at like 250, but they have short ass arms and they can't deadlift, but they have massive legs. And then you have somebody like, Matt Aramoni or, somebody with just really long arms who's built to deadlift, right? Like, I'm sure if you hook them up to some sort of device where they had to flex their muscle as hard as they could, right? Like their leg muscle, like the guy with more muscle is going to be able to generate more force that way. But like torque is a part of lifting, right? Like, so if you can minimize the lever, right? Like you're going to be able to lift more weight off the ground because you can, generate more torque on the bar. You have some sort of mechanical advantage. But I mean,
Powerlifting's really is interesting because like we're trying to make something for everyone when it's clear, and we say things.
It's not for everyone. Like, I feel like in sports, man, like there's just that phrase like, "Yo, he was just born to do this shit, bro." Like,
Russ,
just built for it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have one of the things in my notes is equal, just equal, and basically what I want to. What does that mean?
I want to interrupt this to say that John Keiko just squatted 680.
I just saw it when I went to the bathroom.
Let me see this shit.
No, I told him yesterday. I was like, hey man, and then I started. Okay, this is how I get John hyped up, right? This is how I get John hyped up.
Start talking about DBZ.
Like we're in the middle of a game, we're in the pregame lobby, and I'm like, listen to me, John. This year, 2019, you have a chance.
Damn.
You have a chance to make an impact, to be one of the best to ever do it. And tomorrow, I want you to go up to that bar, and I want you to show them what you're made of, John. Let it play. Let it play, baby.
Damn, that was a nice
Let
680, man. That was a pretty solid 680. God damn.
Man, that
Tournament of Power, 2019. That's all I got to say. And he's like, what?
That was a good 680, man. Shit. What's his best squat again?
That.
Oh, I didn't see it. Comp squat PR. Shit.
I just put
Yeah. What was it previously then?
672.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was after like a big taper. I'm actually ramping him up right now. He's just in the pocket a lot when it comes to that lift. And I was like, hey man, I need you to show me something.
Yeah, I feel you.
Show me a little something.
That was nice.
What
were we talking about?
We're talking equal. We're talking about how you can't make a sport for everybody because, like,
Oh yeah. So, powerlifting. Obviously, there's standards. In order to get into certain competitions, you have to be X amount of strength. Nobody ever complains about IPF Worlds, right? No one's like, no. I don't think anybody is against the idea that you need to be the best in your nation in order to represent your country, right? No one's gonna fight that. But I mean, I think we're talking about like should every class of lifter, like as a person, I'm gonna treat everyone equal, right? Obviously, and I actually think that there are guys that are they'll never top 10, just because like Russ was saying, not everything's for everyone. Like some people are gonna be able to put a shit ton of weight on their back and squat fucking below parallel and stand up and it's fine, right? Other people literally are gonna struggle forever to even get down there, right?
Hey, wait, hold on. Is that cheese?
Jesus Christ.
You're fucking sick, man. I'm out. That is nasty. You're a sick fuck, man. Are you doing that to make macro to meet your macros or some shit?
I only have protein left, and I don't feel like drinking.
Whatever it takes.
Oh my god, that is nasty. The macros on that shit is amazing. Is that the fat-free one?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah.
One time,
I've
Sean ran out of food, so he gathered a bunch of crickets and ate them.
Yeah. The calories on that shit. I mean, the macros on that shit is amazing. But yeah, man. I just feel like certain things aren't. I mean, shit. Sometimes you just go into a sport. Sometimes in sports, you just say, "Hey, man, that motherfucker just built to do this, bro." There's no explanation. His body was built to squat. His body was built to bench. His body was built to deadlift. That's just how it is, man.
So
sometimes you just gotta chalk it up to genetics.
So then people comparing to other people is fucking pointless, right? Especially if you're one of those guys. Like if you're just starting out. Here's the thing, man. I'm gonna use Taylor Atwood as an example. Taylor Atwood was there with me and John at Worlds in 2016, right? 2016, Taylor Atwood was competing at the world level. There are lifters right now. They didn't even exist. Like they weren't even lifting when he was at Worlds, right? You could name it. I could drop infinite, like not infinite, but a bunch of different names, right? People might look at Russ and be like, "Fuck, man! Like Russ is fucking doing what he's doing." Da da da. Like, how come I'm not up there? And it's like, Russ, how many years you been lifting?
Shit.
Forever, right?
Like literally like 11, 10 years.
Right?
I've been lifting since I was 14. Since I was like 13. I'm 24 now.
How many people just got on Instagram recently, started powerlifting, started lifting in general, and they're already comparing themselves to like the best possible lifter, suffering like psychological issues by comparing to people that have literally been doing it longer, competing at a higher level longer than they've even been lifting. That's why I like comparing, especially in a sport like powerlifting, where there's so much variance in like, body type and everything. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget, John, when we're at Worlds, like right behind the curtain before you're about to go out, and Matt Gary's just like, John does not look like he should have the leverages to lift what he lifts.
I was just about to say, yo, John is like, you're not really built to do anything. You're just strong as fuck.
Well, I mean, what
are you built to do? Bro, you're not really.
I mean, where muscles attach matters a lot. Like, if your bicep attaches low.
Fuck all that, bro. Fuck all that, bro. John, you're like what? You're like 5'9", 5'10".
5'9".
5'9", bro. And your arms aren't short.
They're not that long. John's arms are not super long. I mean,
they're
not.
My proportions are like pretty average.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a normally built guy, and then this motherfucking benching 500 squats.
I actually think he has long legs, like long femurs.
Yeah.
I've long femurs, I think.
Sometimes in sports you just say, "Hey, man, I don't know what it is, but that motherfucker just built to do this shit."
Yeah, so
you're not
comparing.
It's like I think, a lot of people just like get stuck in comparing themselves against other people, and it's like everybody wants a reason why. Everybody wants to know like, why am I not there? And sometimes you just like you were saying, like you just have to accept that some people are born some way. Like let's say you were like, you had a box you were trying to get onto like some fucking, up to some certain height, right? And like you have a jack and you can just keep pushing it as hard as you can, and someone else has a lever and they can just pull it up with a rope. Like some people are just better machines. Some people are just better built machines, and like
I mean,
how hard you try, like someone's just going to be a better machine.
Like I don't think I ever really started to take off and enjoy powerlifting until I just started worrying about me. And when coaching became my priority, I couldn't worry about me, and my lifting still, like it got even better when I stopped caring about me and just focusing on. I mean, I care. I know what I'm doing. It's just I'm not like obsessing over it. Maybe as much as Sean is, like when he's trying to win a meet or something. But I think now Sean has reached a level where it's not. There's less unknown, so there's not like fear. It's like, all right, I know what I need to do in order to get to where I need to go. you know, and John doesn't worry. John never worried about it. I never even once, I don't think ever in my history of knowing John, heard him mention another competitor. Like literally never once did he bring up someone else, you know, and Russ, I'm sure you're aware of your opponents, but you don't like right now. I feel like we're just kind of like we're in our zone, we're in our bag, we're just doing our thing, and
It's just charge. That's it.
Yeah.
we're just doing our thing, and then you know how it goes. Like it's sport, man. Whatever. I don't know if you guys watched basketball yesterday, but
Dude, the memes that came out today are golden.
Dude,
Are
were
you
you guys
talking about,
watching? Were you watching, Russ?
Steph? In the work? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, wait, okay, like that travel was the funniest shit ever. He didn't even have to do that.
Yeah, that shit was.
Hold
I
on,
was
let me
whoa.
just skid out a little bit. But I mean, it's just I mean, like guys like that. Some people just gonna throw up a 5 feet behind the 3-point line is gonna go in way more often than anyone else. And what are you gonna do about it? You know?
Yeah.
So
it's actually funny that you bring up that like you've never heard me talk about another lifter, because I was actually gonna say I feel like I definitely compare myself to other people. Like I just don't.
Well,
really,
that's because right now
yeah,
you're on top, and they say they like, for example, that one guy with the, I don't know, you said someone had hit what you hit or below what you hit in reps, and they said they were the best. Is that what happened?
He didn't say he's the best. He just said he like set the record, which is technically right.
In that division.
Yeah.
So I mean, you did it without.
But like even like getting ready for Worlds, like I'd watch Gibbs lift and be like, oh fuck, like now I'm gonna hit that. Like I get super. I was gonna talk about this. I've always been like super competitive. Like anything I did, I wanted to be the best at. And I think you should kind of compare yourself, not necessarily like if you're a beginner, like compare yourself to like any of us, because we've been doing this for how many years, and we have good genetics for it, obviously. But I think you should like compare yourself to like maybe someone in your weight class that's around your level. Like I think that competitive nature will
like find someone to push you is what you're saying. Like someone close to you that can like give you a bump. I love it, dude. I love doing that. That's I don't know how. I know, like, I feel like in the lower weight classes there's like more animosity, but in like the fat boy weight classes everybody loves each other, and I'll just be like, hey buddy, you and me going head up today. He's like, oh, what's up, man? And then that's it, and we just squab it out, you know, just fight, and it's good. And
yeah, like maybe if you took like 10th at nationals, like try and compare yourself with whoever took 9th during that like next training year. Be like, I want to beat this guy next year. That
actually could be healthy. Whereas like comparing to number one, when like you don't know what they give up to do to be there, you don't know what they had to put in to get there. You're not even willing to do what they did to get there. So you're just causing yourself, like, you're gonna feel inadequate doing that. You know what I'm saying? It just makes no sense to me. I think powerlifting, there's enjoyment in it. You know, like even if I'm not competing, I will always lift just to be healthy, just for well-being and things like that. So there's a lot of other benefits that come with it. If you're close enough to be the best, then shit, man. If that's what you wanna do, then do what you got to do to be the best. But you know, if you're not, be real with yourself. That's all it. Literally everything just gets solved by being real. Like just be real with yourself. Understand where you're at. Understand where you want to go. Keep putting those little blocks, little by little. Keep building, and then eventually, you know, 700 is a regular weight for me. I fucking never, when I got into lifting, I literally never thought that would be ever something that I could just hit. You know what I mean? So you know, it's crazy, man. If you just put your head down and keep going. Sean, look what I wonder if I used the time stone and went back and found 2014 Sean and was like, hey, in 2019, you're going to hit this, this, and this. And like, you're going to have your own, you know, you're going to have your own like lifters, and you're going to have graduated and all these things. Would you have thought like you would be here, or had you always had like a vision of like, okay, this is what I want to lift? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's got to be some stuff that you've done that you didn't even think you would get to.
So I mean, like, to echo what John said, and I think it's more obvious with me. I think John's more of like he's a silent killer. So for him to say that he's comparing himself to other people, like, nobody would know that. But I've definitely always been like very hyper competitive and like hyper comparative to other people. So like I remember at the time, like right around when we started working together, powerlifting was obviously very different than it was now. The numbers are different than what they were now. So like where I wanted to be, I was gauging based on like where powerlifting in my weight class was like. So I was like, oh, like my lifetime goal is to, total in like the 1600s, because that was like the peak of 181s. And it's like, that's not even, it's grown way past that, right? Like,
I honestly think, just to cut you off real quick, I honestly think that there has never been a time in powerlifting where training has been this smart for the raw lifter.
No.
Where we know as much as we know, and we are seeing things that to like the old generation just seems like lucrative as fuck. But to me, like I did a poll the other day because I made that dumb face, and somebody was like, when Russ totals like 850 kg, I'm like, I wouldn't even be surprised. I'd be like, I mean, shit, he's been fucking working for it.
Nah, this year, I just feel like new standards will be set. Like,
absolutely, I've been saying it, dude.
Everything. It's just different. I feel like, it's just gonna be different this year.
It just takes time.
And it's gonna keep getting like that. Like I just feel like everyone's training is coming to fruition like in the same year, and like people are just pushing boundaries of what it means to be elite in your particular weight class. And I just feel like this year is once again it's gonna be another year where we push the boundaries of what we think is possible from the human body.
Having been here for a little bit and seeing the different classes, I definitely think like 105s are kind of lagging. They haven't really been like
pushing like
huge jumps.
Elite,
yeah,
like
83s are definitely coming up. 93s are absolutely coming up. 74s, I'm not sure. I mean, it just seems like Taylor's just like chipping little by little. There's up and comers. There's like first place is still there, but second place is gonna be tough. You know what I mean? Like I don't think second is gonna be like guaranteed any one lifter for that class. Sean, you might know.
Yeah, so I coach a lot of 74s, and because of that, I'm like in the circle of 74s because a lot of them are really young, so they all interact with each other. Honestly, like, I'm biased saying the 83 is my favorite weight class because like I'm competing in it, but my favorite to watch outside of that is I think, in future years is going to be the 74s, because obviously Taylor's still number one, but there are so many young guys clustered together right now that are all, one vying for that second spot, but like two in a couple years, like
someone's going to catch him.
Someone's going to catch him.
And that's the thing with a lot of these like lifters that have been there for a long time. Like I know like Jen Thompson was so like unbelievably dominant, and now there's like other girls that have beat her that are coming up. I'm sure that's gonna light a fire under her, but it's like the women is on a lag, but it's just gonna keep going. I don't know when we're gonna see another super that can compete with Ray or push Ray, but it just, if you stay with it long enough, it's a time game. It's not like, you can't just decide to be the best. You have to work at it for years and years and years. And that's why we're seeing limits broken, man. This is the fucking year of limits being pushed.
I don't think we'll see a super compete with Ray unless like we see a football player drop out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Ray's big as fuck.
Ray isn't even Ray is like legit muscular and athletic.
Yeah,
he can do pull-ups.
He did like 10 pull-ups, man.
Yeah, man. What he has, like, I just don't see that being challenged unless you have like a ex NFL football player or college football player that's like a weight room beast that decides to try his hand at powerlifting. Even if he does that, he's gonna have to take a couple years in powerlifting in order to even like fuck with Ray. So I just feel like
you gotta have not only genetics, right? You gotta have like unrelenting, undying passion. Yeah. And you gotta just like, okay, I don't know. So going back to basketball, I don't know the extent of KD's injury. I mean, if it's a tear in his Achilles, what are you gonna do about that, right? But we were saying Michael Jordan never fucking missed a playoff game. Like, whatever the fuck happened. Why is that? Like, why is it that some people, they just don't miss? They always show up no matter what. And then you got these other people that like any little thing they miss out. You know what I mean? It's I think it's a personality thing. I mean, Sean, I've fucking seen everything happen to you, and you just like mentally, you just like got to get through it. Like is the pain, like falling behind is worse than, you know, just like falling behind is like the worst thing ever. You put in way too much time. And John, you said everybody here has good genetics. I think Sean has genetics in a sense that like his body will respond to his body will respond to work, and that he can grow. But I think Sean has to like deal with like a lot of just technical things with the way that he lifts to lift the amount that he lifts, that like I don't need to worry about Russ up and downing on his deadlift. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because it's fucking conventional. You know, Sean's deadlift is like there's a lot of other different moving parts that allow him to lift that much. That's why it's a give and take thing. It's like I just did a video on it today. Should you lift sumo? Like should you lift sumo? Should you squat in heels? Should you bench with a crazy arch? You know, super wide grip or whatever. Some people can, some people should, some people shouldn't. Some people it's not worth it. I've had guys like pull 500 sumo but only 450 like conventional, and like, hey dude, sumo is just not working out. And then we built them up, took a couple months, but now we're pulling in the 550s conventional, you know, and they're like, damn, I wish I started this a long time ago. You know, it's just like everybody has to go through different things to get to where they are. And Sean's gone through a lot of shit. I'm not saying you guys have gone through less shit. I'm just saying, like, here's the thing, John. When you won your last Raw Nationals, how old were you?
23, I think.
And Sean, how old are you now?
22.
Yeah, so at that time, when John's winning Nationals, you're like, how many years behind him?
Well, how old are you now, John? You're what, 25?
26.
26? Okay.
So 4 years. Yeah. So it's like that's another thing, you know. You got to compare to what is reasonable if you're gonna do it at all, but at the same time, if you just stay in your own pocket, it's all gonna handle itself.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think because I've experienced this with, you know, I see it from people that I'm friends with or people that I coach where they get, you know, discouraged because they are comparing themselves to other people. And like, you know, it's obviously best to stay in your lane. And if you're going to compare yourself to other people, like, you better just be your worst critic, because I think the way that like I am, like, I compare myself to a lot of people, but like ultimately, like, if there were nobody, like, I'm still going to like push myself as hard as I am, because I'm just like masochistic and like fucking weird like that, where like I'm just going to do everything I can to be the best, because like it would drive me crazy like if I didn't, right? So like regardless of like who I compare myself to, or like if, you know, let's say like I'm stalling on progress, or if I'm injured and I'm seeing, you know, Russ hitting big numbers or John hitting big numbers, like I'm going to be like, fuck, like, you know, they're getting ahead, but it's never a discouraging thing. Like, it's never going to make me think like, fuck, I shouldn't do this. It's only going to, you know, just continue to remind me that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I couldn't imagine looking at someone lift and being like, oh, I don't want to lift anymore. Like, what the fuck?
Man, it's
Yeah, I don't know who does that.
What kind of shit? A lot of people do that shit, but like, what the
Yeah.
I don't know these people.
I see that comment all the time. They're
like,
like, "Oh, I'm gonna quit." Like after I'll hit a big left, and I'm just like,
"Well, I should just quit powerlifting now."
That's probably why they're not lifting what you're lifting.
Yeah, man.
Like,
I feel like it's more motivation to get after your next session.
Yeah, instead of being like kind of envious, you should want to be like, "Wow, man, that's like dope. That's really motivating. I want to be the best me that I could be." You know.
I think that's really motivating, and I want to beat that fucking guy. Like,
yeah, you can think that too, but is that guy gonna be like Sean and be fucking psycho about it? Probably not. So then he's gonna outcycle you, and you already lost. You know what I mean? So I also have written down here, moving right along.
What's up?
What kind of what music do you guys listen to? Like if you were gonna hit a PR, if I tapered everyone and it's like tomorrow you have to fucking max out. Like what are you putting on right now? I know it changes. I'm sure it changes with you guys sometimes. Maybe it doesn't change.
It changes a lot for me. I think I probably have the weirdest, most diverse taste in music as anybody here.
You do. I remember listening to your music in the warm-up room. I was like, this dude got everything.
Dude, my mood will go all over the place. I'll listen to rap. I listen to rap all the time, but sometimes I'll be in the mood for metal. Sometimes I'll listen to fucking musicals. Bro, if I were to tell you what I was listening to now, if I had a PR, I'd be listening to this fucking sad song by X Ambassadors or some shit that would just you'd be like, are you depressed? Do you want to kill yourself? It literally is just all over the place for me. So my music in the gym is totally dictated by my mood at the time and not necessarily the fact that it's, I don't think oh, it's PR time. This is the song I need to listen to. It's usually just whatever vibe or whatever type of music can get that emotion out of me, which is going to change over the course of time.
I'm pretty straightforward. Just it's gotta have a build up. Anything with a build up or
Joey has the musical taste of a 13-year-old SoundCloud rapper right now. Bro, Joey likes all the hype shit. Literally, if it's hype, Joey will fuck with it. If it's dumb lit shit, you'll like it.
Dude, it's weird though. Well, yeah, but when I'm working, I like more mellow. Anything kind of mellow.
Yeah.
But if I'm in the gym, dude, okay, if you were to go to any LA club at all and anything they're playing and is what they play in the gym, so I'm good. I don't even need headphones a lot of the time, but yeah, stuff like that pretty much. I'm pretty straightforward. John, go ahead.
I
go to the bathroom real quick.
I feel like I'm kind of in between Joey and Sean, where I pretty much stick to rap and trap, but I also kind of go all over the place. It depends on the mood I'm in. But for max out, it's mostly a rap song with a trap remix, something with a really good beat. My go-to PR song would probably be "King of Everything" by Wiz Khalifa.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
I remember on your Raw Nats video for 2015, you had the No Hands remix, the trap remix of that song.
Yeah. I fuck with that sometimes too.
Dude, that song bumps. I remember listening to that because back then you were beating everybody on openers, so I was like, "Fuck!" Went and put that song on my playlist for the gym.
Bro, could you imagine walk into a meet and you beat everyone on openers?
Bro, that literally happened in 2016 and 2015.
That's fucking.
I was so sick in 2016. That was so I think I lifted on Thursday, and I got into Atlanta on Tuesday, and all day Tuesday I was just going downhill, and Tuesday night I was like, fuck man, if I'm feeling like this on Wednesday afternoon, I might just not lift. But
I had the flu and I couldn't stand up.
Pull the Michael Jordan
So
had a pretty decent lift.
But for me, I'm so I don't listen to hip hop for the most part, but I'm pretty much the same way. Sometimes I'll switch it up, listen to some slow shit, but for the most part, it's just straight up hip hop. But it's also just what I'm feeling for the day. I might even just be listening to a podcast while I'm lifting. So yeah, that's what I always get annoyed. I don't know. It's recently I've been able to listen to people talk and just work out, and I'll listen to interviews and just content whenever I'm working out. And for some reason, it just kind of calms me down. On days when I'm super hyped, if I'm listening to hype shit, I got my pre-workout in my system and I'm hyped already. Those are the days where I tend to just fucking overshoot and just wild out. So it's almost the slow music and the podcast kind of mellows me down. It's just all right, this is evening everything out to make a better decision or what I should be doing today. But yeah, it's more so a vibe. Like, especially when it's like, do you have a PR song? It's like, nah, it's just what I'm feeling for the moment. That's gonna elicit that emotion out of me to get the desired effect on the lift. So
I'm just like training. I'm okay with like some like pop shit too. Like if it's just like a rep day.
Pop shit? What you mean?
Like a popular like
Ariana Grande.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like actually, I could do like 7 rings. That kind of gets me hyped. Like surprisingly, I fuck with Ariana Grande and like some Miley Cyrus songs too get me pretty hyped. Like I'm pulling up my playlist right now to see like Lil Baby.
Send me your guys' Spotify playlist so I could put it in the what's it called, the description. So
okay, I got
you. That.
See what type of vibe we on, what type of time we on. Oh shit, man! I just realized I gotta pee really bad. Fuck. Oh, I'll be right back.
It's just me and you, John.
Oh my god! Finally.
Y'all? I can still hear y'all. Shit, I'm here.
Fuck,
I swear to God, if we start hearing a stream,
those headphones picking up everything.
Just start hearing that clapping from the bedroom.
Y'all hear that?
So, John, are you doing the tribute meet?
Yes.
So you're what's that? 11 weeks from now?
Yep, just under 11 right now, I think. Just like wrote up my training program or like my prep numbers.
Where is it? I don't know where it was last year, so I have no idea where the meet is.
San Antonio.
Oh, okay. All right, so that'll be pretty cool then.
Yeah, maybe I'll get Russ to come and handle me.
He might get banned.
Actually, I remember I messaged him like the night before it last year. I was like, "Hey man, like, you should come down." And he's just like, like if you had asked me earlier."
Oh, really?
Oh, which one are you talking about? The one in Dallas?
San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio, yeah. Bro, you asked me the day before. I'm like, bro.
Well, like I totally like didn't even think about it. I'm like, hey man, like, yo.
I'm like, shit. I'm like, shit, bro. If you asked me like 2 days ago, I would have drove down immediately. I'll be like, yo, what up?
I was gonna talk to you about like having what's your camera guy's name? Calvin.
Calvin.
Yeah, I was gonna see if he could like come film for me or something, make a sick
video. We both would have came down. I just would have picked him up. We just would have drove down to San Antonio. San Antonio's not too far. It's just like he texted me like the day before. I'm just like, damn, that's like a 3-hour drive. Just like randomly tomorrow. So, I was like, shit. But it's like a 3-hour, 30-minute drive. I was like, I want to do that shit tomorrow. I was like, nah, probably not.
Yeah, no, it was more so. I think we were talking in the group chat. I'm like, oh hey Russ, like come to this meet. It's in Texas. And like, I don't know. I always forget like just how fucking huge Texas is.
Yeah, Texas is fucking. So I went to Texas Tech, and like that's like at the top of that's the top of Texas. It takes 8 hours to get down to Houston from there, and like that whole time you're here in Texas, you're driving 8 hours.
I was actually like the week before the meet, I was working in Dallas for my job, and so I was like, all right, like I'll just rent a car and drive down so that I can like expense my flight and hotel and everything, and basically it'll be free trip.
Yeah,
I think it was like almost like a 5-hour drive. But I splurged and got a Shelby Mustang as my rental for that week, so it was a fun drive.
Oh man, I've never gotten a rental before.
Bro, I know kids from high school who have like no money, and they'll go on vacation somewhere, just like, you know, it's like they'll be on the coast in California or something, so they could drive, and they'll just like flex and rent a Lamborghini. I'm like, dude, you just spent like 3 months of your paycheck to flex for like 3 days.
Yeah, and it's like you could literally like buy a car for the amount. Like renting a car is, especially like a Mustang or something like that, which I was just kind of like, well, it's on the company dime. Like a Mustang is really not that much. Like you can get a V6 for like 25,000-30,000, I think.
Bro, Joey's sick. This is fucking nasty, man. This is just
Joey's taking an intermission right now.
that is sicko mode.
Just taking a
Damn.
big boy poop right now.
Bro, I'm surprised
Yeah.
he can go with all the fucking cereal and fucking microwave pizza he eats.
Oh my
That's
god.
nasty. Bro, he's like a fucking 5-year-old. Cereal and pizza every day, man. Remember when he was cutting and all he ate was pizza. He said like all he would eat was just like pizza and cereal.
Dude, he'll buy like the 10-pound. It literally looks like a fucking sack, like that, like some old woman would be carrying through like a third world country. He just buys like these fucking 10-pound bags of like knockoff brand cereals, and will just go. That'll be his like 50% of his daily nutrition.
Dude, I always buy the Just Marshmallow cereal from Amazon as like my post-workout carbs.
Sick.
I can't do it often. It's like I'm starting to get sick of them. Actually,
Did you hear that?
What was that noise, man?
I think that was Joey flushing the toilet.
Sounded like someone screaming for a second. I was like, what the fuck?
It's the toilet screaming, bro.
Damn. Yeah, how long have we been on?
not for a while.
Bro, Thanos already
Yeah,
half the population since you were gone.
Wait, the Bucks play tonight? I don't
Goddamn
remember.
hot sauce. Wait, Bucks? What? Hold on.
Oh, the Raptors.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you have triple double in Game 7?
Oh, shit.
Dang, I don't even know why I brought that up, Skip.
I don't know.
I don't even know what I brought that up, Skill.
I don't even know I brought that up, Skill. I don't know why. Okay, so my earphones just died, and then
It'll just keep playing.
What's that?
The
What if-
Raptors fucked them up.
yeah, they did.
What was the score?
120 to 102.
Damn, son. Russ, I don't know. I said six. I said Bucks and 6. I may need to amend that to a 7. 7. Shit, man.
Bucks and 9.
But then Golden State's gonna be rested as fuck, and they're just gonna body whoever gets in there. Does KD need Golden State, or did Golden State need KD? Clearly, they didn't need KD.
80 needed.
I think they needed him when LeBron was on the Cavaliers. But now that he's kind of washed up, I don't think they need him that much.
Damn, you're gonna get people angry with that comment.
I'm a huge LeBron fan.
Lakers are in disarray right now.
Yeah.
I don't like the Lakers, though, so I was kind of torn.
I grew up in the era of the Lakers and Kobe and Shaq and all of that, and now it's just like, what the fuck, man? I feel like a fucking Raiders guy now. Like they just suck. I mean, I would love for the Raiders to do something, but I mean,
I love John Gruden too, so I want to see the Raiders do well.
Since we're talking about sports, who you guys want to see do well this year in football?
Browns.
Yeah, Browns.
Why?
I like Baker Mayfield.
Fun fact, Baker was there at Tech.
Was what?
He was there at Texas Tech whenever he was talking all that first year. He's a funny guy. Funny guy. I want to see him. I want to see like the whole team do well. I like the mixture of like Baker, Odell, Landry. I just think it's gonna be fun to watch.
I mean, obviously, I want to see the Pats do good, but if I had to go for, like, I want to see the Rams do good just because I feel like, well, one, I like their D-line a lot. Two, Sue's a fucking beast, dude. And I don't know how much of the Bears team is, like, still together, but I thought the Bears were going to be really good, and then they fucking, that one game with their kicker and shit was fucked up, but
to that one good season, and like you know how there's always that one NFL team that has like you're like what the fuck type of season. I feel like they're gonna regress back to
Shit.
I agree.
yeah, probably like an 8-8, 7-9 record.
Do you guys think KC is gonna be good?
Who? Kansas City?
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, another Texas Tech boy.
I think that I would like to see them do something.
I think they regress a little bit. Like, what'd they go, 13-3 last year? Or?
He went 13-3. He threw like 50 touchdowns. I mean,
I think they go like 10-6 or like 11-5.
10-6.
I mean, they're a really strong team when I was watching them. So I don't know. I just
He played at God level.
They lost Kareem Hunt, and they're probably going to lose. What's his name? That really fast guy.
Oh,
That like beat his wife or something like that, or
oh
kid.
shit.
he beat his child or was threatening his wife. It's not looking too good.
Fuck, what's his name?
Tyreek Hill. There we go.
Yep. Dude, my fantasy team got so fucked last year. I kind of colluded, actually. It was kind of funny. So my running back. we were in a 12-person league, and I had the first pick, and I ended up getting Todd Gurley, and I picked up James Conner in free agency, like right after the draft. And so my team like dominated all through the regular season. And there was like 3 games left. And I like colluded with this kid because he had Kareem Hunt and he was on the bye week and he didn't want to get the Sacco or like the lowest score because we had a punishment.
Sacco.
Yeah. So I was like, hey man, like Kareem Hunt, he's no use to you in the final week of the season. But you need a good, like, your quarterback sucks. So I'll give you my backup quarterback. You give me Kareem Hunt. I'll have him for the playoffs. And it'll work out. So he gives me Kareem Hunt. Going into the playoffs, Todd Gurley gets hurt. James Conner gets hurt. And then Kareem Hunt gets suspended for the rest of the season.
So you won the Sacco?
No, I mean, I was in the playoffs, so I wasn't going to, like...
Oh, okay.
But, like, I didn't make it past the, that round, so kind of... Or, like, I didn't make it through the playoffs, which just fucking sucked.
Yeah, James, Kareem Hunt. He's got here. He was over in a second.
Sean, what do you got on the list? We're winding down.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll save this topic for next time because we didn't get to go too deep on it. I know we talked about it with Russ a little bit. The unconventional career path and like what, growing up, what made you realize that you were not going to go down that path, or in John's case, like he's the opposite of us, but we'll save that. We'll table that for,
we can hit it quick. We can hit it quick right now if you want. I mean,
yeah, I still gotta cook, man. I haven't had dinner.
Go watch One Punch Man and shit.
Attack on Titan.
I
Attack
gotta
on Titan.
watch Game of Thrones.
You ever watch Attack on Titan?
Oh yeah, and Attack on Titan, bro. I'm literally like zombie mode right now. I'm like so sleepy. But yeah, I'm about to watch.
They're really picking up. Like right now, it's gonna be like.
We got for one show right now, man.
You're gonna be like.
I'm gonna watch One Punch, and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and watch AOT.
I know.
That long.
Wait, John, you do watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
I have not seen the last.
I guess I can't say what I want to say then.
I started watching it last night, but I got in from the airport at midnight, and I fell asleep right away.
There's one event in the whole thing that matters. Everything else doesn't matter. You're almost there.
Yeah.
My friends were mad, so.
I feel like everybody was mad.
It's funny. Like the people that have been following since the beginning are big mad. Like
yeah, I mean this
pissed.
This season's been
and
fucking
for me,
shit.
someone who just caught up and then jumped in, I'm just looking at they set things up and they just don't do it. Like they just did it for no reason. It was it literally just seemed like, hey, we got your money now, so
it feels like the Justice League compared to the early seasons were Marvel, and this last couple seasons have been
the Suicide Squad.
Did you guys watch Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah, favorite show.
Breaking Bad to me is literally like it was like the standard for what a good TV show is. Like, is like almost perfect. Like it paid off. Everything was like legit. I really, really, really fucking like the Punisher. I really like the Daredevils, all of those. Just incredible. Like, you think it's over, but it's not over. Just twists, like shit happening. You have no idea what the fuck is gonna happen next. And the villains, they always like respected them and prop them up. I love when they do that, when the villain is like super formidable and they're not just like some fucking dumb thing that you just easily dispose of. And just with this, it was like, I mean, you already know what happens to the Night King. You got that far.
Yeah.
That's retarded. It's so retarded. It's like
it was such a build up, and then it was like one episode.
It would be like them hyping up Thanos for all these years, and then they just beat him like super easy, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to like, and then imagine it going back to like Civil War, like Tony and Cap are not cool after they beat Thanos, and that's what they're dealing with. It's like so dumb. It's like fucking. I'm gonna go watch Godzilla and just forget about everything.
Not good.
I gotta see John Wick still.
Bro, Godzilla is not gonna be good.
That movie is
I just want to see big ass monsters.
Is it out yet, or like there been any reviews?
Godzilla's like a big dog that just wants to exist, and all these other monsters just keep fucking shit up. Just like, man, let me go regulate real quick. Hit him my Kamehameha real quick. And he's fat too, which I love. He's like fat and he got short arms. And he just like lays on everyone. Actually, I don't want to give it away. Just after Russ watches this next episode of One Punch Man, I'll be like, "See that fat dude?"
right now.
All right, fellas. Sean, you want to hit him with some closing statements?
I ain't got no closing statements, bro. This is it, man. This is the end of the second episode of the Four Horsemen. Thank you guys for watching. Going forward, we will definitely be doing some like Q&A type shit. So if you think of good questions to ask that you guys just want to hear us answer and talk about, like, we will definitely be open to that going forward. The conversation that we are tabling for the next one we'll definitely bring up next time, but that's all we have for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to put John and Russ, you guys got to send me your Spotify's. We'll put that in the description. Joey, I don't know if you have one, but
I'm a snobby iTunes guy, but I do have it. Here's the thing about Spotify, right? It just seems, maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe, Russ, when I see you in fucking 3 weeks, I'm gonna be there. Less than 3 weeks. Fuck.
That's wild.
Wait, when are you guys in
3 weeks, man.
I'll be there in 20 days. I'll be there.
What are the dates for that?
Russ is on the 13th. The girls are on the 14th, and I'll be fucking back on the 15th.
Okay. So I might have to go to California again.
Russ,
I have to go to California after the meet for my sister's graduation. Let's just all pull up.
When?
Shit, June. So I'm gonna be there June 14th.
Where'd she go to school? Or, I mean, you don't have to say it on here if you don't want to. Just tell us that.
You're flying out like right after the meet, then.
Huh? Yeah, I'm leaving from the meet to California.
Wait, June what? June what?
June 14th, the day after.
What the fuck?
You're gonna be smoked, dude.
I mean, it's a long-ass flight. I'm just gonna be sleeping.
I'm literally gonna still be in Sweden.
No, but I mean, like, I have to go to her graduation. She graduates, I think on the 15th or 16th, and then I might just fuck around and just stay out there for a while.
Yeah, I'll be back on the 16th. I'll be dead.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, even when I come back, I still have to come back to Houston for summer shredding event. Like, but that's the month. So.
I would probably be down to do. I think like there's a chance I have to work out there on like the 11th to sometime between the 11th and the 24th because a different guy's on vacation. And then
I can see it working out, Sean. That means you have to come out.
I finished. So I told my boss yesterday officially that I'm not coming back. So I'll be done the first week of July, and then I move back. So maybe sometime in July, I'll be able to come out.
Yeah, and then my girlfriend has a meet on the 29th, so I might just stay out there for like a few weeks or something like that.
Wait, is she doing the state meet?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you're gonna be there when John hits 2K, dude. Oh shit, I wasn't gonna say that till then.
Way to go.
No.
I'd be willing to go back in like July, like 13th or something, like hit a big workout with you guys.
Maybe July is better. Bring a cap costume, bro.
I was gonna say, yeah, like to the people watching, feel free to drop interesting or just whatever topics you guys want us to touch on in the comments, just to give us some ideas. We usually just pick like 2 and then we just wing it after that. But maybe you guys have something interesting that you guys want from us. And yeah, that's it, brothers.
That's it, brothers. Remember to check out our sponsors and make sure to subscribe and like the channel. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, arigato.
Yo, we're gonna have to edit that out.
You could leave it if you